Thank you. Hope that doesn't count as my 5 minutes right there. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chad Novak, and I am here representing the Saskatchewan Taxpayers Advocacy Group, which is a grassroots organization proudly standing up for the rights of individual taxpayers. I am here to address the zoning amendment application for discretionary use for the Westerra Shopping Centre. Something that I am very proud to be responsible for is ensuring that our city provides fair and equitable treatment for all taxpayers of Regina. Now, with that said, I can't help but feel this is a situation where not all parties involved have been dealt with fairly or equitably. It has come to my attention that the previous landowners had development plans that were far more in line with that area of the city, that being light industrial use. Based on the documents I have found, it seems that this was consistent with plans for that area for decades, when the land existed within the arm of Sherwood prior to annexation by the city in or around 2008. Pardon me. Their plans were also consistent with the neighboring property owners, and it seemed like a great opportunity to expand our very scarce industrial lands within the city of Regina. Unfortunately, however, it turns out that in or around December of 2010, it was just, as you'll see in Appendix A, they were told that these particular lands would not be developable or serviceable for the foreseeable future, which was presumed to be at least 25 years. Now, as any reasonable business person would do, they then chose to sell the lands rather than hold on to them for the eventual hope that maybe one day the city might allow them to be developed. Then, in or around 2011, at least according to a public interaction between Mr. Blair Forster and Councillor Jerry Flagel at the May 11, 2016 Regina Planning Commission meeting, discussions began between Harvard Developments and the City of Regina to develop these same lands for what is now known as Westerra, a mixed-use residential and commercial development. Interestingly enough, as you'll see in Appendix B, the lands were never sold to Harvard Developments and Forster Projects until sometime in 2012, with the title transfer being delayed until April of 2013. Meanwhile, in July of 2012, neighbors were being told, as you'll see in Appendix C, that their development plans would not interfere with any future development plans and may even be incorporated into the longer-term development plans when they occur. Now, I don't think this business owner, or any reasonable person for that matter, would have thought that only months later would be considered longer-term, nor would bulldozing through their lands be considered to be incorporating into their development plans. As I've said before, it is my genuine concern that issues brought up by neighboring landowners were simply brushed aside or justified for the betterment of the west side of Regina. Now, I have read the concerns brought forward by Brandt Industries, Regina Tree Service, Major Construction, Olive Waller and Zinken, and I think they are all still very valid today. Below are a few of these consistent concerns. When they acquired the lands years ago, I am confident that all of these parties did a lot of study and planning, the same as any commercial development would do. With that said, I am also very confident that had they been told that Westerra would suddenly turn into a residential commercial mixed-use area rather than the light industrial, as had always been envisioned by the RRM and previous developers for decades, then they would not have acquired those particular parcels of land. Contrary to the current proposal, their development would be a complement to the adjacent lands rather than competing, which may inevitably result in resident complaints and conflicts that are simply predictable and preventable.
Mr. Novak, you have 1 minute.
Thank you, sir. It is for these reasons and more that I fear if you allow any development to occur on these lands other than what had been planned for decades previously, the taxpayers are not being served in good faith, and they are needlessly being exposed to potential litigation by affected parties. Given the history of these particular lands, as outlined above, I can't help but feel that there is some unjust favoritism happening here for a particular developer over another. The same developer just happens to be working on a proposed Aurora retail complex on the opposite end of the city. With that said, I can't with a clear conscience be in favor of this application until the public's concerns and neighboring property owners' issues are resolved. I don't feel this development has the overall residents' best interest at heart, and I certainly don't feel there has been fair and equitable treatment of all landowners affected by this development. Thank you for your time this evening, and I'll gladly answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
And we'll go to our